Good morning. It's currently very early. Like literally as I was starting to film this, I had to stop and I got a package in the mail, which was this light bar. This is the Amaran T2C, and I have not used it as of right now, but I'm going to be using it at my shoot tomorrow, which was very good timing, I would say. The studio that we're filming at is beautiful. It has multiple different rooms, really nice vintage look, and yeah, I'm very excited to use this. Welcome back to the studio. It is a few days later. I actually just got back from basketball. That's why I'm holding the basketball. But I got to use that tube light on 3 consecutive production shoots, and I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on it now, what I like about it, and just everything that it can provide on a shoot, and things that, you know, maybe some of these bigger lights, you know, just get in the way or it's just kind of cumbersome, where these can kind of just sneak in and actually provide some pretty cool looks. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we are talking about the Aputure T2C. This thing has been great. So I have done 3 consecutive productions, all ranging in size and budget and everything. And for these productions, I usually bring at least 2 of these Amaran 100Ds. They're great. They're portable. They don't overheat like crazy, and they provide a great light source. So this is what's filling my face right here. And I usually have one for a hair light and maybe even for a fill on the other side of my face or my subject's face when I'm filming a production. So usually it's a 3 light setup. Now for photo shoots, I usually bring one of these for sure, because I just love the look of it. You can also use the work with the natural light, and then also doing video stuff, it's just great to be able to light your subject properly and just light them the way that you want to light them essentially. So where does the Aputure T2C fit into that? So what I've been using it for is like an ambient glow. So either creating like a warm light on the subject that otherwise wouldn't be there. These Amaran 100Ds are not RGB. So they basically are just 5600 Kelvin, and they stay with a nice white light, which is great. It's for the most part what I like. But sometimes you want to maybe create a vintage look, or you want to have a red or a blue, or just create a color. And that's where these tube lights are great. Now, being that these tube lights are RGB, I was able to create a vintage look at this photo shoot. So I was able to create a warm glow on Sabrina, either using it as a hair light for just behind her, or actually making it like the main focal light. There's this shot that we were doing, we were using a mirror, and I just had the light already set up there, and she just went to check her makeup at the mirror, and the light was already just kind of flashing onto her, and it's a beautiful orange glow. So I just went and filmed, took some photos right there, and it was so perfect for that. It just created this warm look on it, and it's obviously something that wouldn't have been attainable without that light. Now, the best thing about these tube lights is that they're portable. They fit into a bag this big. Now, these big lights, obviously they take up a way bigger footprint, and they have to have a better power source, where this is actually battery powered. So you can plug this directly into your wall outlet, which is great, so you can just have power all day, or you can just charge the actual battery pack that's on the bottom of it, and then you'll have power as well. So it actually has the capability, so you can bring it in the field, you could bring it on a remote shoot, you can bring it anywhere and just create a natural light source without having to have a generator or some kind of power bank to be able to power some of these big lights. So yesterday I was at a very large production shoot, and it was like an 11-hour shoot, and I probably used that light for about 6 consecutive hours at between 90 and 100% power, which is insane. Normally the lights, you know, would last 2 hours or, you know, an hour at 100%, but this thing was lasting so long, and it's actually still going on the same charge. Mind you, this is like at 15% now, but still, it's just insane that it was able to last that long. This breakdown is not going to be like technical and get into the specs of everything and how, you know, every single thing works. I'm sure there's other channels that would give a more detailed breakdown in that sense. But in regards to actually just using this on many shoots now and on a day-to-day basis, I can see this just being incorporated into my workflow all the time. So Sabrina and I arrive at the studio, and first things first, I had to just scope out the space. I'd seen it online, but whenever you book a studio, they always look a little bit different in person. So scoping out the space, checking it out, figuring out what locations we actually want to shoot at, and we decided to shoot about 4 different spots. Now all these spots look a little bit different, so that was the creative, unique part, and that's where this light came in super handy, was because we could actually light them completely different. Obviously we had our main fill light for the most part, and then we also also had some window light in some cases, but then we were able to get creative with what the tube light can actually do. So our first location was this yellow couch with this really cool shag rug, and the whole vibe of this photo shoot was kind of like 70s Playboy, like that vintage kind of nostalgic look. We wanted some warm glows and just like a really cool catalog of photos. This couch obviously had like kind of some reflective properties to it, so when I put the orange light onto it, it was just reflecting it off so cool. You had the window light coming in the back and almost creating like a little bit of a hair light as well, and then you had our main fill, just which was giving our subject some light. So obviously the main light was counteracting the window light that was behind, creating the hair light. If you didn't have the main light, you would have just had a full shadow in the front and had to adjust your camera settings, and it just would have been this weird muddy image probably. Where this was able to keep the image sharp and then create this cool glow onto the couch. We also changed the background of the set a little bit. We added more greenery than was actually there before, so that was really cool to be able to like customize the set. It wasn't just like set in stone and like the only props that were there were what we could use. And obviously the window light was going to reflect with the green a little bit and just emphasize that whole like nostalgic feel. I messed around with where I put the tube light. I had it behind, creating a bit of a warm glow on the hair, and I also had it out front, creating a warm glow on the cheekbones and the jawline. I also changed it up and went to more of a white look just to be able to change the look of the image a little bit, so when I was editing it I had some choice of what I wanted to work with. So this is location number 2 in the studio. What we were trying to achieve here was kind of mimicking natural light. There was a window off to our right which was creating more natural light, and it was a perfect overcast day, so we just had like perfectly diffused light coming in through the curtains as well. But all I wanted to do was kind of just create a little bit of a separation between her and the background on the side of her head. So that's where the tube light came in. I just kind of stuck it behind the plant and allowed it to illuminate the plant a little bit, but also pull her from the background. So that was the whole purpose of that part. We also had the Amaran 100D, and it was coming from a 45 above her like it normally would be, and that was just on the side of the lamp, and it was creating our fill light. We also decided to use the window as one of our shoot locations. I don't think that was originally in our plan, but I just loved the way those curtains looked, and we used the tube light to kind of just separate her from the background a little bit more, because if it was just her against the white background, it probably would have been a little bit overexposed and hard to shoot with. So just adding that light to the side of her just allowed her to be separated from that background, which you're gonna hear me say a lot, and I've probably already said it a bunch of times, so I'm sorry for that, but that's kind of what I've used this light for the most part, was either creating separation from the background or adding a nice glow and warmth or color that otherwise wouldn't be there without the tube light. Okay, so location number 3 in the studio, this was probably my favorite spot that we shot. We used like the center part of where the couch would be, like where a coffee table would be, to give it kind of like a homey kind of vibe. Again, you have this beautiful backdrop with all these cool pictures and everything. You have the warm glow on the couch, and then you're able to just create that beautiful depth with the hair light, with our main fill light, and then add some practicals in the background like the lamps and things like that. This was probably the coolest spot because it was so big and open. I was able to create a lot more with the photos. The tube light came in super handy here because we were able to create the warmth again. The warmth was so important on this particular shoot because of that vintage look. That 70s kind of amber brown kind of look was so crucial, and the tube light obviously was the real MVP making that happen. Another cool thing is it connects to your phone. So you use the Sidus Link app and then it just connects directly to your phone. You can change all of the settings that you could otherwise change on the light. So you're in the field, the light's over there, and you're just on your phone, and you can change it to whatever color you want, or the brightness, or anything like that. I'm not going to get into like any more actual details about the light. I'm not paid to say any of this. I'm not sponsored by them. I bought this light with my own money. This is like a complete unbiased review, but at the end of the day I am super happy with it. So I would recommend this to anyone who wants an accent light. And even if you wanted to just use it as like a main light, you really could. Like, it's pretty diffused as it is. I would say that these would definitely be a higher quality product for just a main light, but it's bright enough. Like, this is on like 10% right now, just so it doesn't like blow out the background. Anyways, I am gonna get out of here. I need to go get some sleep. I have literally been working for the past like 2 weeks consecutively without having a single moment off. So hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace and love, yo.